So good afternoon guys, welcome to another TA update. Today is the 16th of February 2022 and it's just coming up to 2 p.m. here in the UK. So we start with the Bitcoin chart here on the daily. This is the Coinbase chart, and as you can see, we're still very much kind of just going sideways inside of what was previously a low volume area. Okay, now we've been kind of rotating inside of here. We've created a little bit of a balance there. Okay, so resistance still is this 2021 VWAP around about $45,500, so which is the previous high here. But as you can clearly see here in market structure, we've printed a higher high here, which is the first one since the beginning of the year. It's the first one of this year, really. Higher high there on a higher time frame, and we've come down here to the bottom here, and on this little edge low volume node, and we kind of bounced there. We're just kind of rotating sideways. There's not really much going on since the TA update on Monday. So today is going to be a very not very quick, but it's going to be a quicker TA update because not much has changed, and I don't want to just keep repeating the same thing as what I was doing. But the only few things that have changed and things that I've noticed I will highlight, and we'll just reiterate the levels that I'm looking at for upside and for downside. Okay, so in terms of balance here, you can see that the balance area that I've highlighted here in blue is basically just this mini volume cluster here, which was that, again, like I said, the previous area of low volume. That's where we're rotating. We're rotating inside of that. And note that it ends right there on that low volume node there. Okay, so do I expect the price to rotate to the bottom? Yes, I do. I think that it would be quite healthy for Bitcoin to print a little bit of a lower low here. So it's not lower than this one, but lower than this one here, and just get a healthy pullback, which looks like it's about to do today. But a healthy pullback to this downside and to pick up some levels. And the levels that I'm looking at really is the developing year VWAP. As you can see, that lines up perfectly with the edge of this high volume cluster of these this low volume node. Okay, on top of that, we also have some pivots there. Okay, so these was missed pivots. I think the monthly has actually been taken, but the weekly pivot is, in fact, I'm going to delete this one because the monthly has been taken. But the weekly pivot is very much in the same area as well. Okay, and if I was to do a Fibonacci, I'm just going to do the Devil's Pocket. So I'm going to do a fib here from this swing low to the previous swing high. Oh, I'm sorry, no, from this swing low here, below, just before the impulse, to the last swing high. You can see that the Devil's Pocket, or the 6-6 if you like, and the 6-1-8, it lands very much in the same area. Okay, so these are the levels. There's plenty of confluence there. Like I said to you guys on Monday, these are the levels that I'm looking for in order to go long. Okay, so there's no guarantee that the price will come down there, but if it comes down, then these are the prices that I'm looking at to enter for a long position. Of course, if I was to look at all of the balance areas, and again, these balance areas really are just a rectangle that covers the edge of each high volume cluster. Okay, so for me, signal that we are indeed bullish and that we're going up would be a reclaim of this level here, of the 2021 VWAP. Okay, so 45,500. If the price gets above here and kind of confirms that this previous resistance is now support, then I would wait to see a confirmation of that, meaning that the price curling up again, and I would enter along. Okay, this could be a very slow progression, or it could be very quick. But the longer we stay here and the longer we consolidate, then the more explosive the move will be. Okay, volatility is at all-time low. So not quite at all-time low, but it's very, very low. Okay, so So that's the level for the upside. I want to see a decent close above $45,500. This is the Coinbase chart, by the way. There's slight discrepancies with different charts, but you'll be able to see that's basically at the bottom of this consolidation here, okay, or at the previous top here. And if we can close above it and confirm that this is indeed now a level of support where it was previously resistance here, okay, if this is a level of support, then I'm quite happy to enter a long here, change my position and my bias from shorts to longs, and this is the next target that I'll be looking for. It's around about $53,000, okay, and it's not going to be plain sailing that it can go very quickly straight up to there. But I think that, you know, it's likely that we find a little bit of turbulence and a little bit of resistance at certain points, punish the late longs, and then perhaps even come back down again and then go up or something like that, you know. So you'll have to wait. But on the higher time frame, this is the next level of resistance that I'm looking at. If we do break above 45,600, 45,500, something like that. Okay, I hope everybody's clear on that. So now you've got a first level of resistance and the next level of resistance, okay, and the things that you need to see in order to become bullish again. For the bearish case scenario, like I said, first is a drop down to this level here, and if we do not see a bounce to come and take this level of resistance straight after, because obviously the play that I'm looking for is a nice little pullback down here, okay, and then straight back up again and trap everybody that was shorts down here, right? Short squeeze, get to this resistance, start consolidating here, and then just break above it, okay? That's the level, that's the narrative that I'm following. That's what I think it will happen. However, so you got those levels. However, the bearish case scenario, I beg your pardon, is if we do break below here, and then we start consolidating here, and we cannot get back inside of this consolidation area, meaning above $41,000. If we can't get back above $41,000, then I think it's very likely that we're just basically getting rejected from this consolidation here, and we come and test these levels down here. Okay, I highlighted this for you on the either last week or on the Monday technical analysis update, and that's basically exactly the same thing is still in play. Okay, so just because the price comes down here doesn't mean immediately that this is a bullish. We have to observe price very carefully, and it's time to pay attention at those levels. But you know, the indication is that for me this is a good buy at these levels. Okay, this is a decent entry for a long if we are indeed bullish, and I'm quite happy to enter here at maximum risk to take maximum profit, because even if we come down here and then even coming all the way up here then and then getting stopped at this area, you know, or that we cannot break above that resistance, for me that's still a decent trade. Okay, so I'm interested in longs down here, especially after a pullback. I'm not interested in longs up here. Okay, that longs up here is just a mistake. If I just show you the reason for that, just to give you an example. Okay, so let's go from here to these lows. Okay, so I'm going from this previous swing high here to the swing low there. Okay, and this is just a price action, sort of like the optimal trade entry, if you like. And you can see that the price is just now at resistance right about the 618, 620, right? So why would I be entering along at this? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, I need to see more signs and a confirmation that we are indeed to go long, and I'm quite happy to miss out on this little move from here to here if we're bullish, and if in fact we're going to 53,000. Okay, I'd rather miss this little bit of price action here and enter here on confirmation, right? Enter a little bit higher above with less risk than risking right now to go long. Okay, for me this is, we've just had a little impulse to the upside, so for me this is an area for shorts. I did post yesterday, I think it was yesterday that I posted, or perhaps a couple of days ago, that I posted in the group that I entered a trade. As you can see, I entered that trade here around about 44,500, 45,600, and a few scaled orders there. I scaled in. I had my stops around about here, $45,000. I moved my stops since then a little bit further down to round about break even, just because we've broken down market structure and there's the highs have been raided. There's no reason for the price to get up there again. So I've just left now this at round about break even, but really I'm targeting this level here as a first take profit, and then much lower levels again, like I said and I showed you before, at round about $41,000, $40,000 down here is the next target that I'm looking for. I might even put another take profit here at this little level consolidation at around about 41,000, but I do think that the price needs to come down to $40,000. That's just my opinion. Of course, do not follow what I do. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and none of this is financial advice. It's just for educational and entertainment purposes. So here we are. So on Bitcoin, like I said, we've got now, like, you've got levels to the downside, right? This one, and perhaps the low 30s if it is indeed bearish. Okay, so let me just put the balance areas up again, right? So this is the level that I'm looking for longs, right? I'm still short from up here. I'm targeting these levels down here. If here we bounce, then I'm quite happy to take a long and go up to the upside, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens here at resistance. If, however, the price kind of goes below and struggles to get back up again, or starts consolidating at these lows down here, then I think that it's a question of time until we come down to these lows down here. Okay, I did say a couple of weeks ago that the less likely case scenario is that we would rotate just sideways like that. Well, I was completely wrong. As you can see here, this was a low volume area, so that's why I said that, because usually low volume areas are either rejected or the price moves very quickly through them. But it does look like we're kind of playing a little bit of a tug of war. Okay, so at these highs, people are interested in selling. At these lows, people are interested in buying. So we're kind of stuck in the middle, and we're just kind of like, you know where the sellers are, and we know where the buyers are. So now we just have to play the range and just do a little bit of range trading and just see where we are. So it's just a little bit of sideways price action is inevitable. It doesn't mean that we have to go down or that we have to go up. As they say in the traditional finance, door number 3 is quite possible. Door number 3 means that it's not up and it's not down, it's sideways, right? So it is quite possible that we do this until everybody loses their interest and eventually this breaks to either side. So, but at least now you've got the levels, and you know where to enter your trades and to exit your trades if you are in any trades here on Bitcoin. Okay, of course now we could be just going sideways, and all it will take is a catalyst, a Federal Reserve meeting. I think there's one today at 7 p.m. UK time, or Elon Musk tweet, anything like that. It will just make the price move, especially in periods of low volatility. The price will move very, very, very violently, and people will say, oh, it's because of Elon Musk, or it's because of the Federal Reserve, or it's because well, it doesn't matter. They're just a trigger. Okay, they really are just a trigger. The levels that we have here are basically part of the plan. And if you've got a plan, I've already got a plan, right? I've already told you what the plan is to go to the upside. I've told you what the plan is to the downside. And I've told you as well that I'm quite happy to play the range. Buy at the lows, sell at the highs. And that's it. If you've got a plan, then it doesn't matter who tweets or what happens. You've got all these levels marked on your chart and you know exactly what you're doing. I hope that is clear. Anyway, some of the things that I did notice that have changed slightly. I'm just going to move here onto the Coinbase chart, to the Bybit chart. I've got a few monthly levels and weekly levels highlighted there. As you can see, there's a bit of a clusterfuck here with a weekly and a monthly level just above. From this swing high here, you can see that I've got an anchored VWAP. The price, it's exactly where the price kind of stalled. Okay, and then if we look, I'm not sure why it's not there anymore. The COVID, here we go. So the COVID VWAP is basically, so no, it's actually not on this chart, the COVID VWAP. So let me just show you back on Coinbase. So basically, this is the level of resistance that is partly why we're being held down at this level, because there's an anchored VWAP from the swing highs there, and there's quite a lot of selling pressure at these levels. I wanted to show you something else, and I thought it was on the Bybit chart, but I was wrong. So just bear with me a second. I'm just going to take this away for a second, just so it becomes a little bit clearer. So this is an anchored view up from the crash of middle of March 2020. Okay, now you can see that the view up hadn't really been tested since, and we've got very, very close. Okay, so it does look like first we bounced here on the first standard deviation, then we entered, we couldn't get back above it again, right? So we entered the first standard deviation, we came and retested the edge, and we came all the way down to that anchored view up. Okay, we bounced off there quite dramatically, and now we're on the edge again. We're on the edge of this first standard deviation. Okay, so you know, this is an argument for the bulls. Okay, this is something that could add confluence if indeed the price is to go to the upside first. I'm not entirely convinced. Like I said, I do expect it. My bias is to the downside, hence why I'm short. But that's just something to keep in mind. Okay. Of course, the all-time high VWAP, also with the standard deviation, is around about $47,000, and we didn't even get there. Okay, but we are inside of that standard deviation. So you know, make of that what you will. I just wanted to show you that as well, and I wanted to show you a couple more things. So, for example, here on Deribit, the options expiry date is the 25th of February. That's the monthly expiry. This is a monthly contract. I mean, max pain price went from $40,000 last week to $41,000 towards the end of the week, and we're now at $42,000. Max pain just means that most of these options will expire worthless, and price tends to gravitate towards the max pain price as we approach the end of the month. So again, $42,000 could be a level of interest, and that kind of has a little bit of confluence here with the chart, and we are not too far. I mean, 43,700. We're really not that far from $42,000. So on that particular Friday at 9 AM here in the UK, if the price finishes at $42,000, most of these options would have expired worthless. Okay, a closer look at the order books, global order books here. We can see that there's quite a little bit of pressure here, highlighted with big orders in white. Okay, so the brighter orders are the heavier orders, and you can see here that the markets are very thin to the downside, mostly. I mean, this is just Coinbase, Bitstamp, Bitfinex, Binance, and BitMEX, but you can see here there's hardly any really big orders. There's one here on BitMEX, but the very large orders are a little bit lower. Okay, so you can see here there's a flurry of white markers at low levels, around about 43,800, etc. And I expect that these will go a little bit lower if the price comes down to it. But you know, a very thin market. Okay, so there's not really a lot of buying pressure at these levels. Okay, as opposed to the selling order books. Okay, you can see that there's quite a lot of selling pressure very close to where the price is. Okay, so and if you go further up, I mean, there's a few, but again, very thin books. Okay, the selling pressure around about 44,000 as well. There's quite a few there, quite big orders, but nothing significant. I mean, for me, the obvious thing is how thin these books are to the downside compared to the upside. Okay, so a look at the daily market profile. You can see that we opened just outside of the previous day balance area, of the value area, if you like. A very wide initial balance usually tends to indicate that we're going to be ranging and perhaps having an inside day, but the 80% rule did apply, and if you don't know what that is, I'll perhaps explain that one day on the advanced course series. But basically just says that if we enter the previous day value area, then it's very likely that we go and visit the other side of it. And that's exactly what happened here. We entered, we spent a little bit of time down here, and then of course we go and test the other side of that balance area. And that's already just played out, okay? It's played out whilst I was talking. Again, I'm looking at really at the lower prices, and I'm looking at this naked point of control here around about $42,000. 42,150, and then there's also a naked point of control around about $38,000. Okay, but there are a few things that are not showing here very well, so I'm going to pull up Exocharts on the desktop because it's a little bit more complete. And you can see here there's that that first point of control around about 42,100. Okay, and then we've got an anchored view up from the lows that just seems to like have perfect confluence with the first of the single prints. Okay, so it's also a value area high there, but the first of the single prints is sitting at around about $40,000, and then we've got some more single prints down here between $38,000 and $39,000. Okay, these are the levels of interest for me. I mean, obviously, I'd much rather that the price bounced here. If the price comes all the way down here, then it's going to be a little bit trickier. But and when I say tricky, I'm going to explain my rationale. It's just because, again, we're inside of the previous balance. And if we're inside of there, we better get out of it pretty quickly, okay? So if we do test these levels down here, I do expect it to be very quick if it is to be a bottom. If that's a bottom, it would be very quick and we won't have much of an opportunity to buy at these levels, okay? What is the most likely case scenario, if we do come indeed down here, is that we start printing a bottom down here, engineering liquidity. Everybody thinks we're going to go lower. Okay, and we do go indeed lower, but it's just a stop run. The price goes very quickly down here and then squeezes everybody and goes straight back up again. Okay, so an illustration of that on the charts here would be perhaps price coming all the way down here, starts printing a little bottom, okay, and then there's a little run to the downside and then just squeezes everybody up. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm going to maybe highlight this on the 4-hour chart just to make it a little bit clearer. So perhaps a little bit of consolidation here and then a move to the downside. Everybody will be losing their mind thinking we're going back to zero. We start printing a bit of consolidation there. Everybody thinks, okay, there's engineering on both sides. Okay, so there's stops above here and there's stops below here. Now everybody that's going long has got the stops down here. Everybody that's going short has got the stops down here. And then this does a little very quick wick to the downside, takes all those stops and grabs that liquidity and goes straight back up. And not only is a short squeeze and squeezes all these shorts down here, but takes out all the stops of everybody that was short as well. Okay, and then we'll have to wait and see if we actually go to resistance again or not. But that's how I see it playing out anyway. Okay, so again, this is just a narrative. I haven't got a crystal ball. I don't know if that's exactly how it's going to play out, but you know what I mean. So I'm just looking at these key levels and just seeing what the possibilities and the probabilities are. Okay, so that is it for Bitcoin, I believe. Let's have a quick look at Ethereum and see what Ethereum's been doing. And a look at the daily chart first. And again, we've re-entered. So we kind of, this is interesting, right? So I think on Monday or last week, I did say we were down here somewhere. And I did say that we would have to observe the price as it comes into this balance area, okay, in this high volume cluster. And if it was starting to bounce here, I would bet that the price would come back into this balance. It means that there's a rejection from this one, right? So that's exactly what happened. The price fell out of this balance area here, the orange line, the orange rectangle, if you like, this one. The price fell out of that. It came and tested the edge of this balance here, and we got rejected there, and the price rallied very quickly straight back into this balance area. So that's a clear rejection of this balance. So I do expect, even if the price comes down here, I do expect to have a little bit of a support here at $3,000. Of course, everything depends on Bitcoin, okay? So if Bitcoin decides to go to $40,000 today, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Ethereum getting dragged down with it as well. And if that's the case, I do expect this to kind of hold, really, but we'll have to wait and see, right? Because if we find ourselves back inside of this balance here, and then we find it very difficult, and we're finding it difficult to get back above again, then this for me is a signal for a short or an early entry for a short, and I think we're going to target much lower prices such as $2,000 or whatever. So that's the bearish case scenario for Ethereum. The bullish case scenario is that even if Bitcoin has a little retrace now to 40,000, that this, even if it comes all the way down here, it holds or bounces straight off of there again, and then we confirm that this is indeed support, just like we did here. Okay, and we target the next level of resistance, which will be around about $3,600. Okay, so $3,000 is a very key level for Ethereum right now. And even if this pullback here is a shallow one, if we come all the way down here, I'd like to see the price getting rejected there. Okay, and printing a higher low. Okay, so higher than this one here. in terms of market structure, that is almost essential. So I do expect the price to do something like this, curl up here, and then come and try and take this next level of resistance, okay? But again, like I said, and I'll reiterate this every single time, is that you really have to keep an eye on Bitcoin, because you can do all the technical analysis updates that you want, and you can analyze anything, any coin that you want. It all follows Bitcoin. So all TA will be null and void if Bitcoin has a period of high volatility, okay? So again, you've got some levels to the downside. You know that if we break below here and we cannot get back above it, that's an entry for a short, right? And we'll be targeting these levels down here around about $1,500. Perhaps take profit at $2,000, because that's a big round number. There's a low volume area here, okay? So that could cause a little bit of friction. So that's the bearish case scenario. The bullish case scenario is that we either rally straight to $3,600, or we hover around about here, around about $3,000, and this holds as support, and it adds a little bit of confidence for the bulls for us to go and take the next level of resistance. So we'll just have to wait and see, okay? I'll have a look at Exocharts as well and see if I can see anything on a market profile that could be interesting. I haven't looked at Ethereum here on market profile for a while, so just bear with me so I can just get my bearings. So we've got a couple of naked points of control above us. We've got one at around about $3,200 and another one at around about $3,420. Okay, we've also left a naked point of control down here at $2,860. So we've got some single prints at around about 2,700, which has also got confluence with this anchored VWAP from the lows. So in a severe pullback on Bitcoin, so meaning if we go to $38,000 or $40,000, I would be inclined to think that this would be the best optimal entry for Ethereum, right about $2,800. So a little bit below the $3,000 threshold, if you like. But you can see a closer look here. Yesterday's profile, we left a few single prints at around about $2,950, $3,000, something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised as well if the price is just, if Bitcoin is behaving, I wouldn't be surprised to just see the Ethereum sort of bounce here, okay, and actually not test these levels down low. So we'll just have to wait and see. You've got a few levels here of interest. Like I said, 2,800, around about 2,700. We've also got this one, which is a more immediate single print here, where there's a few trapped shorts there, which will add pressure to the upside, buying pressure if you like. And we've got a naked point of control above here, and a naked point of control above here, around about $3,400 and $3,200 as well. Okay, so that is it for Ethereum USD. Let's have a look at Ethereum BTC. Ethereum BTC is still rotating inside of this balance area. Okay, if you guys don't remember, I'm just going to do it again. I can't even remember if I've got this somewhere, but I just put a volume profile from the beginning of this impulse here and throughout the whole range to the most recent price action. You can see that that forms a high volume cluster here. I'm going to highlight and make that as a different one so you can see the color there. This is the value area high and this is the value area low, and you can see that the price, once it entered this balance area, it tested the high, couldn't get above it, and came and tested the other side of the balance, and that's exactly what happens here. So we've just the point of control is exactly where we've just been rejected from, so we're just kind of rotating. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this here on Ethereum BTC starting to get a little bit towards the lows here, and then we'll have to wait and see what happens at the lows. Okay, for me at the lows, I'll be looking for a buy if you're trading Ethereum versus BTC, and I'll be betting that at this level here Ethereum will get back above again. Okay, so it looks like Ethereum will continue to get outperformed by Bitcoin, even though we've had some severe impulses here, several impulses. I mean, we're still printing lower highs, lower lows, right? This is the first higher low. It looked promising, but there was no guarantee. We had some levels of resistance. We failed at that resistance, so it's quite likely that we come down here and test these levels down here, okay? Down here, we'll have to wait and see. The levels to the upside, of course, so this is the level for the downside, around about 64,000 sats. Levels to the upside will be, again, this point of control here, and these levels of resistance here. Important levels. Just because of the break in market structure and because of the nature of this range. You can see previous resistance here, previous resistance. It did hold as support when we came above it, but then we broke below it again. So again, it's only had one tap, so I do think that this needs at least 2 or 3 taps before we break it to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Ethereum carry on being outperformed by Bitcoin even if we go to the upside, okay? So for me, a very good sign of strength for Ethereum would be Ethereum rallying from here, taking these levels of resistance, even if Bitcoin is pulling back, right? So that's an early indication, and it's time to pay attention to Ethereum and alts, meaning that sometimes Ethereum will have a mind of its own and will just go up. I don't know if it's for fundamental reasons or whatever, but sometimes it just happens. I'm not entirely sure why, but I definitely know when. I can see it on the chart. So and the same goes for you, right? So the first levels of resistance, anyway, I'll stop babbling. 74,000 sats, maybe 70,000 sats, 74, something like that, and then 79, 80,000 sats is the next level of resistance, which is about these levels down here. If we do have a little bit of a rally and we break to the upside, then the next level of resistance will be around about here, which is about 88, 89,000 sats. That's Ethereum BTC. Oh, of course, the levels for this downside, this is the first level of support, and then these levels here will be the levels of support as well, around about 56,000 sats and 60,000 sats as well, okay? Below that is a little bit scary, and we don't want to contemplate that. As at the bottom of this range, you can see that there's very low volume there, very quick price action. In fact, let me just highlight that. You can see that there's a low volume area here. You can see that with the way that the price traveled so quickly to the upside, okay? So there's a liquidity void there. So I think this is going to be very good support, okay? This usually tends to act as a rejection point where the price will rally from there or bounce from there. However, if we do get further down from there, it's going to be a very quick trip, just like it was here. A very, very sharp move to the downside, and then we'll just start rotating at these levels down here, okay? So I'll be looking at this level here, around about 43,000 sats, and perhaps around about 25,000 sats, maybe with this one here as a friction point. But, so again, this whole area, which is basically just this volume cluster here. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I'm just trying to highlight those levels so that you know what to do in case we do go down there, okay? So that is Ethereum. I do apologize, I've got a cold, so I'm a little bit sniffly, and I do apologize in advance if I have to sneeze. So I'll just give you a heads up anyway. I'll try not to sneeze on the mic. So let's have a look at FODL versus USDT, and this is here on OkeX. Very much still in the uptrend. We're printing higher highs and higher lows, and we're just kind of going a little bit sideways. Not really much has changed since since Monday. We're very much holding that level, and you can see that there's a little bit of accumulation with a nice increase in volume as the price moves up. So this is a good confirmation that the price is indeed bullish. FODL USDC, very much the same kind of scenario. There was a little bit of a dump here, back here, but you can see that the volume is increased as the price went up, and now we're just kind of rotating sideways, okay? I'm just going to delete this this scribble of consolidation, but you can see we're in a low volume area, so we're struggling to get above this 22 cents level of resistance, okay? But it's very likely that we just kind of like rotate sideways here. And I'm going to change this color to blue. But ideally what we want to see is targeting this level of resistance here, and then get onto the next level and create a little bit of a higher highs, higher lows type of market structure, okay? So constructive price action as such, okay? So again, if we can get above these low volume areas here, I expected the price to move a lot quicker through there as well, but I suppose there's a lot of uncertainty in the market at the moment with Bitcoin and stuff, so we'll have to wait and see. But one thing's guaranteed: if Bitcoin does go up, I wouldn't say guaranteed actually, that's a mistake, right? Nothing's guaranteed, nothing is absolute in trading. But the probabilities are that if we see a strong move of Bitcoin and Ethereum to the upside, that this will break resistance very, very quickly. And ideally what we want to see is the price get all the way above this level of resistance here, okay? If we can get above here, then I think rotating between this level, where is it, 37 cents and 30 cents would be great, and I think it'll be the next step. As this was a previous level of consolidation, right? So this held support for quite some time. So if we can break above this level of resistance, it will be significant, and it won't be easy, but if we can break above it, then I think it will be very strong support going into the future, okay? And I strongly believe that that will be the last chance you get to buy anything below 30 cents with FODL anyway. So that's FODL versus USD. Let's have a look at FODL versus ETH. or versus wrapped ETH, to be more precise. Okay, so we've curled up at this low volume area here. This is a previous balance area. You can see that we consolidated here for quite some time, and we just found a little bit of resistance there. That's perfectly normal, but you can see that the price is starting to curl up there. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the price here break above and then consolidate a little bit. And the reason why I say it'll consolidate a little bit is because there's a point of control there, okay? If we can break straight above that, then fantastic. I think the next level of resistance would be around about here, about, what is that, 165,000 way. And the level of support will be down here. I apologize, I'm not very confident with the denominations in Ethereum, so I'm not even sure I'm saying that right. But I don't want to read the whole fraction 0.000. It's just ridiculous, right? But you've got the levels on. You can probably pause the video once I finished streaming, and I'll put some timestamps so that you can have these levels on your screen. But like I said, if we break above this key level of resistance right now, which was previous support, this will be a very strong level here. Again, strong level of support, and we'll have to hold that in order to rotate sideways. But I think that's exactly what we'll do afterwards. We'll just rotate sideways between the next level of resistance here and the next level of support. If you think about in terms of market dynamics, this has been tested, this level of resistance has been tested quite a few times, right? And there's a low volume area below here. So when this explodes from this area here, if this level of resistance breaks, it'll be very quickly to get to this level here, right? Very, very quickly. And you can see here in terms of volume profile that this is a high volume cluster here. I've put this rectangle here on purpose. Very high volume cluster here. So if we can, if FODL manages to get back inside of this balance area, as soon as we enter that balance area, this is definitely a long here, and I wouldn't get in the way because I'd be very surprised if we don't come and test the other side of that balance straight away, right all the way up here. Okay, so even with this little spike here, and it looks like it's resistance, I'm not saying that the price is just going to go straight up there, but that's usually how it works. When we enter a balance area, we tend to test both sides to firm up the balance and to confirm. So that's all I've got for FODL versus ETH. I hope I made it clear. Like I said, we're printing a higher high and a higher low right now. The price needs to get above these levels to start rotating above. If we have a little pullback, we've got plenty of levels of support down low here. You can see there's high volume clusters here as well. So this would be a significant level of support. And I expect that this one down here, which is the edge of this low volume node, would also be a significant level of support and the previous all-time low there. Okay, so that's FODL versus ETH. So look at AAVE versus USD. AAVE versus USD very much do the same thing. I've got a feeling that all of these coins are going to be doing exactly the same, which is not very different from what I said on Monday, okay? So again, with levels of support down at the bottom here, levels of resistance, we're kind of just still rotating sideways, and we'll just have to wait and see to which side breaks first, okay? So obviously this is a higher high and a higher low. It's not really higher than this one. It's still a lower high, to be honest. But we've printed a higher low, right? So we'll just have to wait and see. But this is the next level of support, followed by this one and this one. So it's about $100, $136, and then $160. And then above us, we've still got that $200 and $250, which is very strong resistance. You can see this is a low volume node here, and it's only natural that it's going to cause a lot of resistance. Big round number at $200 as well. So I don't expect this to rally anytime soon, but if it does, these are the levels of resistance. If it carries on to the downside, then you know that the next levels of support will be big round numbers and these low volume nodes here that I've highlighted on the volume profile. Okay, I hope that makes it clear for you guys. Let's have a look at AAVE versus BTC. AAVE versus BTC very much going sideways here. Not much in the way of change. Yeah, we're still inside of we're kind of still inside of this little high volume cluster inside of the big balance area. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the price kind of rotating sideways and perhaps even go and test these lows, or at least these ones here. Around about 2,700 sats. But again, we're just going sideways. There's nothing going on. Bitcoin pumped, didn't dump, so obviously these coins just go sideways and they're waiting for a signal, a clear signal from Ethereum to see if they can move further up. But with very few exceptions, these are just going to go sideways. Let's have a look at AAVE versus ETH. AAVE versus ETH AAVE continues to bleed versus ETH. We did touch that level of resistance. I think it was a few days ago, like at the end of last week, and we've just been going slowly bleeding to the downside. A very slow bleed down to the next level of support, which I think is around about here. Okay, if we break to the upside, then this is the first level of resistance, and then this will be the next level of resistance, and this is a significant one. There's a big order block there, and another one just above it, and there's also an anchored VWAP from the previous swing high. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I can also put an anchored VWAP here if it helps, and you can see that this here, without the standard deviations, will be also the next level of resistance around about here. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens, but I think my inclination here is that we go further down on AAVE versus ETH. Compound versus US dollar. I'm going to delete this scribble here just so that we can see a little bit clearly. As Bitcoin pulls back, this is also pulling back a little bit. We did break above that level of resistance before, so we'll just have to wait and see if this turns to support or not. I'm going to leave it as support just because we've got the point of control just below us here, and you can see how the price could not get below it. It didn't stay very long below it. Okay, so I do expect this to be strong support here at this level, around about $125 for compound, but again, we're kind of stuck between resistance and support, right? So if we break to the upside, then this is the next level of resistance here, and if we break further up again, this is a low volume area here. Not really, actually. In a great context of things, this is a bigger, context is everything. This is a big high volume cluster, okay, and like I said, when price enters a balance area, it tests both sides. Okay, we haven't tested this side yet. The only thing that can get in the way of that is the point of control, and that's exactly where we are. We're at the point of control. We've bounced there quite a few times now. I wouldn't be surprised to see it bounce again. If we break to the downside, this is the target. If we break to the upside, this is the first target. Okay, and there's some more levels of resistance at $168, $197, or let's say $200. It's a big round number, and then of course the edge of this balance area, which is around about $236. At the moment, my inclination is to say that this is almost at support, and we go and try the upside again, and we just kind of rotate here. Okay, that's what I'm seeing right now. Compound versus Bitcoin. Well, we're back at all-time lows. Unsurprisingly, I think I actually said that to you guys. I said that this just continues to print lower lows and lower highs, and we just really have to start looking at big round numbers. Okay, so 298, let's say 300 sats. That's a big round number. If we lose this one, I'd be looking at 250 and then 200, 150 and 100 sats and so on. So there's no change in the market. I do believe that compound will carry on getting battered by the majors. There's no sign of recovery here, not even of any will to go and test these levels of resistance. Of course, I could be wrong, but at the moment, my inclination is to say that it's continuation, and this just goes to the downside. Compound versus ETH, very much the same thing. As you can see, I don't want to repeat myself. These previous levels of support, as soon as we got below it, there's levels of resistance now, and we are pretty much at all-time low. So I do expect 400 to maybe cause a little bit of friction, as it's a big round number, and then we'll just have to look at 350, 300, 250, 200, and so on. Okay, so that's compound versus ETH. I just made a little boo-boo. So basic attention token, BAT versus USD. BAT continues to get battered. We did try to get above that $1 mark. We couldn't get it. We got rejected off that previous balance area here, and you can see that we've pretty much just gained acceptance here inside of this one. So the next levels for basic attention token, these were supposed to be levels of support. They are now resistance. So I'm going to change the color. Okay, so the next level of support is around about 65 cents, and then the next one after that is 50 cents and 38 cents. Okay, these are based on volume profile, so these are just low volume nodes perhaps. I can double check. Yeah, they're just edges of high volume clusters, okay, and low volume nodes. So that's exactly what they are. And yeah, so I just expect we're back inside of this balance area here. If we cannot get back above it, then I think it's going to be a very quick trip to this one here, and then we'll have to wait and see if we bounce there like we did here, or if we are indeed coming all the way down here and test this low at around about 50 cents. Okay, so BAT for me is also looking like we're going to get some more downside. Okay, and don't forget that if Bitcoin does do what I think it's going to do, which is a pullback to 40k, even though it's just like a few percent, like a single digit pullback in terms of percentage, you will quite often see double digit dumps on some of these coins. So just bear that in mind. Okay, just to give you an example, 2% down on Bitcoin today, 4% down on BAT versus USD. Okay, some of them are more, some of them are less, but you get what I mean. So these are exponentially more volatile. BAT versus Bitcoin, again, we're losing levels. We're approaching a level of support here, round about 1600 sats. We'll have to wait and see if we can hold that again. So you can see this is support, support, support. We broke below it, but then we did a breaker. We went straight back up to the upside, and then support again. We rallied from there, and now here we are again. We're at the range high of this little consolidation here. Okay, so I do think that because this level here is resistance, I do think that we've got some more room to go to the downside. I think around about here, around about 1600 sats. If we get there, then I do expect this to hold as support. If we break to the downside, then obviously we've got this level here as support as well, and perhaps another one down here, as you can see from where the price bounced before. Okay, so again, my bias is still to the downside on BAT versus Bitcoin. BAT versus ETH, very much the same thing. There's no point of going over the same thing again. First levels of resistance are above us. Levels of support, we're quickly approaching them. So it's perhaps time to start thinking about this going sideways a little bit. But I think we've got a little bit longer to go, and I think we could go a little bit further lower down here and just test these levels down here. Okay, so that's what I'm saying for BAT versus ETH. Link versus USD. Can't believe I've managed to do that whole stream without sneezing. So we've got a low volume node just above us. It's this rectangle here, as you can see I've highlighted with a little circle. That acted as resistance yet again. This was actually a, I think on the 12th, where were we? Yeah, we just kind of dropped below it, and I said that it would be quite possible to come and test this level here, and this would be the key level of resistance. If we can get above it, then that would be turning to support, but of course it does look like we've just got rejected today. And so the next levels of support will be down here around about $15, and then around about $12, and then $10 as well, and $7 is the next level. Okay, this is a significant here around about $12. There's a point of control there, so you could argue that this one is as well, because it's $10, a big round number, but I place quite a lot of significance in this one here, as there is a point of control there. That's the fairest price for Link USD at the moment. Okay, so I do expect a little bit more downside, although we could bounce here as the edge of this low volume node, but if we fail that one, then we'd definitely come to this one. Link versus BTC, very much the same thing. We did rally. Now we've printed a lower low here, and we're kind of, it just looks like there's a low volume area here. As you can see, there's a low volume node. That's where that green rectangle is. It's acting as support, just like I said it would. Price came all the way down here. It bounced very quickly, just wicks. Look, as you can see that, right? Price bounced there, but it looks like we're on our way back down again. We didn't even come and test this point of control above us. Okay, of course we could bounce here again, and that's the next level of resistance, significant one as well for that matter. But if we break below this one here, it'll be very quickly, and then we'll have to wait and see if this is indeed now resistance, where previous support turns to resistance. And if that's the case, we're going to go much lower and perhaps try the next one down here. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see, but that's what I'm seeing here for Link versus BTC. Of course, if we do rally here, if we bounce, this is the next level of resistance here, and if we break above that, that's the point of control. That would be significant support now, and we would quite likely rally to go and test these levels up here. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see what the price says. Link versus ETH, very much the same scenario. That scribble says everything. I did highlight this on Monday for you guys, that I didn't expect the price to get much higher, which would probably just go a little bit lower. But if we do, I'm going to do that drawing yet again. I just don't want to keep repeating, right? But I want to make sure that people understand, right? So we've got a low balance area here, right? So sorry, a high volume cluster here, which is a balance area. If we can, if we break below that, okay, and then fail to get above it, right, just like we've done here, like break below, fail to get above it, then I think it's very likely that we contest this level here. The only thing standing in the way is this level here. Okay, so the point of control is right in the middle of that balance area, and that would be, if you're short from the top here, that would be a good take profit. Okay, but the ultimate target would be the other side of the balance area. All right, of course that the price can come here and reverse, right? So you want to be taking profits at this middle point here, but I'm just highlighting what the balance is. This is the value area high, this is the value area low of this balance. So you just have to keep that in mind. Okay, so break below this level here, around about 5,300 way, and I think we go much lower. So that is Link versus ETH. Uni versus US dollar. Interestingly, we've got a low volume node here, low volume area. You can see that the price has tapped it quite a few times. We're just about to test it yet again. Okay, and if this holds, then of course it's a big round number as well, around about $10. Okay, we're at 10.85 right now. This is somewhere between 9.63 and 10.63. So, you know, right about the $10 mark, big round number. So obviously, even if people that are not using volume profile are using the $10 mark as a big support level. Okay, so I do expect the price to hold here. If it doesn't and we break below it, then of course we're going to be testing these two levels of support, right, which is the next low volume areas down here around about $7.75, something like that. Okay, so right about here. Breaking down below that, then obviously we're going to see $5 and $3, but there's no point of thinking about that just yet. Significant level of resistance, as you can see here. Low volume node, that's why we couldn't even come and test this previous level. So there's a nice little FTR there. So even if we break above this one, the edge of this, so this is significant resistance, the edge of this one will be significant as well. $14, which is very close to, well, $14.86, it's very close to $15, and then you can see this is a massive balance area here. Okay, breaking above that would be fantastic, and again, like FODL, we'd be rotating here for a while, and then I would bet on it exploding to the upside. Okay, but at the moment we're not seeing that just yet. We trade level to level, so this is what I'm seeing at the moment, and I'll have more for you guys on Friday. Uni versus BTC, very much the same scenario. We've entered a balance area here. As we enter this balance area, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger like this. You can see it again. It's a perfect example, right? We come inside of the balance area, come and test the edge of it, cannot get above it. This low volume node here, which is basically the red rectangle that I've highlighted, is probably a low volume area on the volume profile, acted as resistance, and so here we go, we're going to the downside. Okay, so the next level of support would be around about here, the inflection point between these two balance areas. Okay, so again, when we get to here, we either bounce, right, and come and test this level here, right, which is quite possible, or we break below this one and then come and test this level here, which was going to be previous support. It's now probably turned to resistance. We target this level down here. Okay, so you're just playing the entry to this, you're playing entrances to this balance areas. Okay, so if we enter a balance area, it's almost guaranteed that we go to the other side of it. Okay, and then we either rotate inside it like this, right? Or we break below it and then we enter a new balance area, and so on, and so it continues, right? So that's Uni versus Bitcoin. That level of support just is 2,200 sats, just in case you were wondering, okay? And the next level of resistance is around about 3,150 sats. Finally, Uni versus ETH. And we've just lost the last level of support here, so I'm going to put that as red. And yeah, it looks like we're almost at all-time low. Okay, so there is a nice little wick here to the downside, so we're not quite at all-time low, but in terms of candle closes, we are very much at all-time lows. Okay, so we've lost that. It does look like we want to go further down, especially if Bitcoin has a pullback. So I'll be looking at these big round numbers, so such as 300 way, 250, 200, 150, and so on, to look for those for potential places of reversal. Right now, there's no indication that this is going to go up, okay? This was a nice little run. We printed a higher high. We were hoping to keep a lower low, but then there was a break in market structure. So like I said at the time, it's very likely that we'd retrace the whole move, and that's exactly what we've done. We've retraced the whole move. So now we wait to see a further signal and to see if there's any sign of recovery, okay? A sign of recovery would look something like this. Constructive price action, okay? So a higher high, a higher low, followed by a higher high. Now that's what you want to see, and the previous resistance would turn to support, and then the previous resistance there gets taken, and then that previous resistance gets taken as support, and this is why it's called constructive price action, and we go from level to level like that. I'm not seeing any signs of this, so at the moment we just have to wait and see. So again, my bias is Uni will continue to be outperformed by Ethereum. So just reading the messages. Elon won't twit. Anonymous got to him. And Lawrence says hi Lawrence. Hi Jay. Thanks very much for listening to my cold-ridden voice. I hope this was useful to you guys. I hope it's helpful. Keep an eye in the group. There's plenty of alpha being dropped all the time in the trading group. The guys in there are always posting really good charts and giving trade ideas to where the price might be going. And if you're not sure what they're talking about, because we use quite a lot of acronyms, ask the question. Don't be scared. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Everybody's there to help each other, and that's exactly why we're there. So feel free to ask the questions and participate in the group. I encourage that strongly, and it's also an opportunity for you to grow your rating and an opportunity to grow up to OG trader level, where you can start posting your own charts and your own trade ideas. And have access to posting in other sections of the trading group. So anyway, I'll stop babbling on now. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Keep an eye on Bitcoin, despite even if you trade shitcoins or whatever, just keep an eye on Bitcoin. Trade smart, and yeah, I'll see you guys around. I'll see you on Friday. Bye bye.